In this video, we're going over the asteroid mining paper that we've been working on in class for a few days now. So we need to research asteroid mining, and we have 3 articles here. Then answer the questions below. Then we answer the questions below, and then we're going to use the answers to our questions to help us write an article about asteroid mining to inform people about this new market. Okay, so it says, let's just go through them. Okay, let's go through the questions first, then we'll come back to these articles. Who is involved in advancing asteroid mining? What people and companies? So many of you just wrote in, for example, just wrote NASA with no other information. Okay. Besides NASA, what other companies? And the one company is the company that made the other YouTube video that I had you guys watch. What other companies are involved, and specifically what people do they mention in those articles that are involved in asteroid mining and are wanting to advance the technology of asteroid mining? So you need to be a lot more specific. Simply writing 1 or 2 names or one company and one name is not enough. Okay, you need to say NASA's involved, they are doing this, this company is involved, this is what they're doing, the head of the company, this person is also involved, this person is involved. You need to be specific. Name the names from those articles. Okay, what do they want to accomplish by mining asteroids? What do they want from the asteroids? What are in the asteroids that they are going to use, and how are they going to use those things? Many of you are missing the point. What are they trying to get done? They're not just trying to make history. Some people wrote they want to make history. They're not in business to make history. Yes, that will be kind of cool for them, I'm sure, to make history, but that's not what pays the bills. Okay? Why do they want to be doing this? What are they trying to get done? Number 3, when will they start mining asteroids, and what are they currently doing? You need to give me some dates. Now, many of you did better on this question, but still a lot of you did not. You need to tell me, what is their plan? When do they predict that they're going to be able to start mining some of these asteroids? And what are they currently working on in order to reach that eventual goal of mining the asteroids? Number 4, where is this work taking place? Where do they plan to launch their satellites? So where on Earth is this taking place? And now it's taking place in a lot of different places. Some people put something simple as it's taking place in NASA. Well, where is NASA located? What do you mean by it's taking place in NASA? That doesn't make any sense. NASA is not a place. Okay. Where is NASA located? Where are these companies located? Where are they going to be launching their satellites from? And then the next part, where do they plan to launch the satellites? Are they launching the satellites to orbit the sun? Are they launching these satellites out to orbit the moon? Where do they want these satellites to end up? Okay. Number 5, why do people think asteroid mining is a good idea? So again, this kind of goes back to, what are they going to gain from this? Why is it a good idea to do asteroid mining? Number 6, how are they going to accomplish their goals, and how are they going to make money? Okay, so what are the steps to getting to their ultimate goal, which is to mine these asteroids? How are they going to get there? What are the steps they're going to take? And then how are these companies going to make any money? Okay, they don't make money by doing fundraising. Fundraising is how they get started. And those people that are giving them money expect money in return. Okay, it's called an investment. It's when somebody gives a company money before the company's actually made any money, with the idea that, okay, the company will pay me back once they do start making money, and then I'll be able to get not only the money that I gave to them to start the business, but I will also get additional money in return. It's called an investment. So how is these companies that are going to start mining asteroids, how are they going to make money? And then lastly, write an essay that summarizes asteroid mining using the notes and answers to the questions above to help you. Make sure to have a strong topic, sentence, and conclusion. Your job is to inform your reader about asteroid mining. So as the reader, I want to know about asteroid mining. Who's involved? What are they doing? What's taking place right now? Why are they going to be asteroid mining? What's the purpose of asteroid mining? Why not just mine here on Earth? It's a lot easier and potentially could be a lot safer. Why do they have to go out into outer space to mine? The reader needs to learn about asteroid mining from you. So you're becoming the expert when you read those articles on asteroid mining. Okay, let's take a look at these articles. So Article 1 is right here. We click on it. And then below pops up the link. We click on that link. And let's go through. Safe and efficient asteroid mining. One of the most frequent questions I get is regarding how and where asteroid mining will happen. As in golf, asteroid miners will play it as it lies. Starting with the water-rich carbonaceous asteroids, every precious liter of water will be extracted and purified on site, right in the same orbit around the sun that asteroid has been in for millions of years. So they're going to be in this article, they're talking about taking the water from the asteroids, because some of these asteroids have ice on them or are made of ice, and so they're talking about getting the water from these asteroids. And they're not going to bump the asteroid off its course or anything like that. In this article, they're talking about mining it while it's still on its same course that it's been on for millions of years. Asteroid mining will make use of the abundant and free thermal energy from our sun, the vacuum of space for vapor transport, and the cold dark sky to vaporize, purify, and collect this material, which costs tens of millions per ton to launch into space. So what they're talking about here, many of you use this sentence, you basically just copied and pasted it into an answer, but you didn't use it correctly because I don't think you understood what it was saying. What they're saying is water, if you've ever had to carry a jug or jugs of water or any liquid for that matter, you know that water is very heavy. And so what they're saying here is if we can get the water from the asteroids out in space, we won't have to launch the water from rockets here on Earth, because the International Space Station, for example, if they need new fresh water, we have to load that water up and then fly to the International Space Station, so send a rocket up. And that extra weight of all that water costs a lot of money to ship from Earth into space. But if it's already in space, it should be much cheaper. As we have discussed before, in space everything comes to how much rocket fuel you need to do a job. It would be a waste of rocket power to bring back anything to the Earth-Moon system that we don't need. That drives the need to make sure the extraction occurs at the asteroid far from Earth. So again, they're talking about how they think the most efficient, cost-efficient way to do it is to not grab the asteroid and bring it back to Earth or anything like that, but actually mine the asteroid while it's flying through space. This is actually the same way that traditional mining works. In many cases, tons of ore are reduced to mere grams of profitable materials, sometimes by a mass ratio of 1,000,000 to 1. For many minerals, this is done as close to the mine site as possible in order to ensure the greatest profit and reduce the extreme cost and energy of transporting vast quantities of heavy, useless material. For the same transportation cost reasons, mining of asteroids will be motivated to do the same, mine and refine at the source. So what that is saying is currently mining that takes place on Earth, they'll get these, whatever it may be, let's say diamonds. They'll get these diamonds and they are very unrefined. They're just chunks, pieces, and they're embedded in other rock. So they try to break it down as much as possible, as close to where they get it right out of the ground, because then they're not shipping all that extra weight of just the extra rock that's around the diamond. They want to get as close to just the diamond pieces as they can before they ship it, because those shipping costs, the heavier something is, the more it's going to cost to ship. NASA's asteroid retrieval mission has perhaps confused the issue, as NASA has chosen to capture and return up to 500 tons of a near-Earth asteroid and bring it to a distant retrograde storage orbit around the moon. NASA's reasons for doing this are different than for us asteroid miners, as they are looking to demonstrate advanced high-power propulsion systems and provide astronauts an interesting destination and research opportunity for growing the capability of human exploration of deep space. While many of the technologies and approaches used in accomplishing this feat will advance the state of the art, this is not how we would propose to mine an asteroid. So again, this is talking about some people were using NASTROID's asteroid retrieval mission as part of in their paper, but this NASA's mission with this is completely different. Okay, they're moving the asteroid, but that is not an efficient way or a cost-efficient way to mine an asteroid. So they're saying, we do not do this. NASA is trying to move these asteroids, not to mine them, but for completely different reasons. Again, it says this is not how we would propose to mine an asteroid. Last, even though Bruce Willis and his crew make it look relatively easy in the movies, perturbing the orbit of an asteroid is an extraordinary challenging and precision activity. For the very few asteroids that are on a near collision course with Earth, it's fortunate that only a slight nudge is necessary to avert disaster and protect us Earthlings from the fate of the dinosaurs. For the thousands of asteroids minding their own business orbiting the sun, they will continue to do so even as they are mined for the materials that will open up the solar system for humanity. As Isaac Newton deduced, an object in motion stays in motion, and separating useful material from the rest does not change its orbit. So again, here, many of you listed Bruce Willis and his crew as people involved in asteroid mining. Bruce Willis is an actor from a movie, okay? And it says that right here. Makes it look easy in the movies. Bruce Willis is an actor. He's in a movie where they had to destroy an asteroid that was going to hit Earth. So this is way off topic. Bruce Willis is not involved. Some of you mentioned Isaac Newton as a person being involved. He is not involved either. Isaac Newton is dead. He's a famous scientist, though, and he did come up with the laws of physics, and one of the laws of physics is an object in motion stays in motion. And they're just pointing this out because they're saying, yes, we agree with what Isaac Newton said is true, and because that is true, we don't want to move the asteroid, we just want to take the materials from it while it's in its normal movement. We don't want to push it off at all. Okay. If life gives you the opportunity to study the fascinating field of celestial mechanics, you'll get to learn all the incredible and fun physics that keep the Earth orbiting the sun, day, night, and the seasons proceeding according to schedule, and the wonderful dance of the asteroids, comets, and planets around the sun. You'll be more connected with the universe and realize how truly blessed we are to have these wonderful resources in our solar system, just waiting to support our lives and livelihood as we venture off this planet and towards being a multi-planetary species. And this is Chris Lewicki, President and Chief Asteroid Miner at Planetary Resources. So this is a person and a company that is directly involved in asteroid mining. Okay, now let's look at this chart. Resource extraction happens within the asteroid's orbit around the sun. Then the refined resources are delivered to their point of need, such as a high Earth orbit. So what this is showing here is this is Earth. This would be an a satellite that the company launches that rotates around Earth, okay, or orbits Earth. The asteroids have they go on a huge journey, okay? They're constantly orbiting the sun. And what Planetary Resources wants to do is once they identify a asteroid, these ARCIDs go attach themselves to the asteroid and begin mining the asteroid as it goes along this journey, and refines the materials as it goes along this journey too, and doesn't drop them off until the asteroid gets back to this location. Okay, this is very different than what NASA is trying to do. NASA just wanted to move an asteroid so that it would circle the moon and possibly have some research opportunities on the asteroid. Completely different from what this company, Planetary Resources, is trying to do. Okay. So some of you mentioned these Asteroid satellites, but you didn't mention what they are going to do, okay, or what they are exactly. All right. Okay, let's look at Article 2. I click on Article 2, I click on the link. Asteroid mining isn't that crazy or far off. It looks like I got an ad, let's skip it. Okay, CEO Chris Lewicki, there it mentions him again. So he is definitely an important, and the company, Planetary Resources, who has landed rovers on Mars for NASA. See, so this is not, NASA is not involved in this yet. He just used to work for NASA. Chris used to work for NASA. He explains why mining asteroids for water and rare earth metals is feasible. Feasible just means possible. So water and rare earth metals, that's what they're looking for. Some people were unclear on what they were trying to get from these asteroids. They're trying to get water and minerals, or metals, excuse me. Okay. So here we have, we can read this caption. Flight director for the Mars exploration, successfully, yeah, so this is just him when he used to work for NASA. But he's not working for NASA anymore. He's the CEO of Planetary Resources. If you think a company that is trying to mine asteroids in space wouldn't be taken seriously, you're mistaken. Planetary Resources, based in Redmond, Washington. So here is another place on Earth that this work is taking place. Announced in early November that it received a 27.7 million round of funding from the country of Luxembourg to help the company accomplish its goals to launch its asteroid prospecting system into space by 2020. Okay, so this is not fundraising. Okay, this is investment raising. The country of Luxembourg gave them this money, but they expect to potentially, if the company is successful at some point, they expect to be paid back, and paid back not only the 27.7 million, but additional money on top of that, because they're taking the risk. Because if the company is not successful, they lose all of that money. Okay. When do they want to have this accomplished by? 2020. So there's a time. Chris Lewicki, CEO of Planetary Resources and former director at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, responsible for landing the last 4 rovers on Mars, said his company is not some far-out fantasy. It sounds like science fiction, and the initial reaction is disbelief, said Lewicki at the Web Summit in Lisbon last week. But people realize after going through the details that not only is what Planetary Resources is working towards is possible, it's inevitable. In July 2015, the company launched its first spacecraft, the Asteroid 3 satellite, from the International Space Station to start testing the sensor technology during a 90-day mission. So, what are they doing now? Well, right now, they recently launched the Asteroid 3 satellite to test the sensor technology. Then we go on. Later this year, or early 2017, so this is something they're doing right now, Planetary Resources will launch the Asteroid 6 satellite into space on a SpaceX rocket from California. So again, this is something they're planning on doing, and California is another place on Earth where this work is taking place. Or a PSLV rocket from India. So India is another place on Earth this work is taking place. It's where they may launch their Asteroid 6 to test the newest iteration of its technology. These satellites, which are about the size of a cereal box and packed with infrared and hyperspectral sensors, will help Planetary Resources characterize asteroids and identify which ones have adequate amounts of ice and precious metals so the company can mine the resources. So what does the Asteroid 3 satellite and the Asteroid 6 satellite do? They look at the asteroids. They have sensors on them to look at different asteroids to see if the asteroids would be good for mining, meaning do they have a lot of ice on them? Are they made up of the kinds of metals that we want to get from them? Okay. Before asteroid mining, the company wants to build Ceres, a constellation of satellites that will float around the circumference of the Earth to work as an advanced observation platform using its sensor technology to gather data on Earth's natural resources such as water, oil, and food, and sell the data to government, agriculture, traders, blah, 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 right? So what is this saying? What this is saying is before they actually start doing any asteroid mining in space, they also want to build a bunch of satellites that will go around Earth, and using the technology that they've got from Asteroid 3 and Asteroid 6, use that same technology to look at Earth and see what materials are where more water, oil, and food, and then sell that data. So basically they're going to come up with a lot of information and then sell that data to governments, agriculture companies, oil and gas companies. Okay. So that's one way that they're going to make money before they even start mining asteroids. Okay. They're first going to be using the same technology they're going to use to look at asteroids to see where the resources are, what kinds of resources they have. They're going to use that same technology to look at Earth to find where resources are available. Once the technology develops further, the spacecraft will start asteroid prospecting to identify the most resource-rich near-Earth asteroids. Lewicki said the company's ultimate goal is to mine asteroids for water to help lower the cost of space exploration. So some of you did mention this. This is one of their ultimate goals, lowering the cost of space exploration. But you need to explain how would mining the water from asteroids help lower that cost. And we talked about that a little bit in the other article when we talked about how expensive it is to launch water from Earth. Okay. Where we are starting is very simple and very valuable to everyone. Water, said Lewicki. You might not think water is the exciting thing to mine, but we need it for astronauts in space. We'd like to not have to ship 100 tons of water every time we go to space at a cost of $50 million each time. So he's wanting to mine that water so that astronauts don't have to blast off from Earth with tons of water, which costs a lot of money to ship because it weighs so much, meaning it's going to cost more fuel to ship it. Lewicki said the Planetary Resources wants to help foster a space economy by dramatically lowering the cost of going to space, by providing necessary resources like water to astronauts, by combining the low-cost computers and sensors from smartphones with cutting-edge satellite and avionics. The company believes it can help usher in a future of full-scale economies in space. So we have all these resources in space we could be sourcing locally while up there, said Lewicki. This is what Planetary Resources is all about. We can use all of these resources to help build infrastructure, create economies, help grow businesses, and build families and settlements that we have been doing all of our history on Earth, but in space. It's something that technology in our solar system has recently made possible. Okay. Going back now, let's take a look at Article 3. We click on it, click on the link. Silicon Valley of space startups. It could be Seattle. Okay, this is Vulcan Aerospace, Seattle-based space vehicle for Microsoft. So this doesn't say anything though about them being involved in specifically in asteroid mining. But let's read. Inside an office in this city's South Lake Union neighborhood, engineers in lab coats fuss over a contraption unlike the usual creations flowing from Amazon, Facebook, and other technology companies with offices nearby. It's a satellite the size of a large duffel bag that will be lobbed into orbit in August as part of a constellation of cameras that will take aerial pictures of Earth and deliver them to customers faster and cheaper than in the past. The company building it, Spaceflight Industries, is one of a growing number of startups springing up in Seattle for the same reasons the area has been so hospitable to internet and software companies. It's about software, big data, and it's about capital, said Jason Andrews, the chief executive of Spaceflight, which also arranges ride shares, think Uber for rockets, for small satellites to tag along on bigger missions. Seattle is an epicenter for all three. There's more activity than ever in the commercial space race, with a new wave of entrepreneurs attempting to do everything from lowering the cost of putting something into space with reusable rockets to mining asteroids with their mix of universities, government space facilities, technology talent, and financial risk takers. The San Francisco Bay Area, Los Angeles, Denver, and other cities have become especially fertile grounds for space startups. No single spot can claim to be the Silicon Valley of such companies yet, but Seattle is on the short list of contenders. Investors and entrepreneurs say the area is home to two tech billionaires, Jeff Bezos of Amazon and Paul Allen, a co-founder of Microsoft, who are funding ambitious, varied efforts to make space more accessible. They've been joined by a few smaller companies like Spaceflight, attracted by Seattle's abundant supply of software engineers from stalwarts like Amazon and Microsoft, and aerospace experts from Boeing, the aviation giant that has major operations in the area. I think we're putting the space back in the Space Needle, Charles Beams, the president of Vulcan Aerospace, Mr. Allen's space investment company, said in a recent interview. Okay, we're going to skip a little bit. This is just talking about the World's Fair. This is talking about Jeff Bezos. This is talking about Vulcan Aerospace. Again, talking about Vulcan Aerospace. This is talking about Elon Musk's company. And not talking about, okay, here we go where it starts talking about asteroid mining again. Planetary Resources, a startup in Redmond, Washington, has plans for one or more implausible sounding space businesses dedicated to mining asteroids for materials like water. The hydrogen and oxygen in water can be processed in space into fuel for craft headed into deeper space or satellites orbiting the Earth, the company said. So this is one way that asteroid mining is going to allow people to get further into space, because now they will be able to get water while they're already out in space. The company's chief executive, Chris Lewicki, there he's mentioned again, said it planned to attach a probe to asteroids and use inflatable solar reflectors to concentrate the sun's energy on the surface of the asteroid, allowing Planetary Resources to capture the water as it is baked out. So you may want to include this. This is some more detail to add, that the way they're going to do it is put solar reflectors, and so to heat up the asteroid to melt that ice, essentially. But Planetary Resources, which has attracted investment from Larry Page and Eric Schmidt, so here are some more people and companies involved. Larry Page and Eric Schmidt are the founders of Google and its parent company. They now go by Alphabet. So these are people and companies you want to include. First, plans to use infrared and hyperspectral imaging sensors to analyze asteroids for the most promising targets, essentially a big data problem. The company will begin testing the sensors later this year when it plans to launch a new spacecraft, Asteroid 6, to scan the Earth for natural resources. So Asteroid 6 is scanning Earth first. Remember, we talked about that. They're scanning Earth first to find out where the where minerals and different water, oil, things like that are on Earth, and they're going to sell that information to companies. That's how they're going to start making money initially. Mr. Lewicki said in an interview that one of the company's largest teams was its software group. The supply of software and traditional aerospace talent made the Seattle area an obvious choice, said Mr. Lewicki, who worked at NASA, so now it's just saying where he used to work. It's a powerhouse on both the software and hardware side, said Joe London, chairman. So again, that's not prudent to what we are studying. Let's see if they have any others talking about so it looks like that's the only section of the article that's talking specifically about our subject, which is asteroid mining. But it's talking a lot about where it happens. Okay. So now we've gone over all three articles. Hopefully you have a little better understanding from listening to the video of what I expect from your answers, and then also from reading the comments that I left you.